Beaglington on Sea says, what would you like Hornby to release in TT that they haven't previously mentioned or announced? Oh, that's a really good question. So what I would really like... So, funnily enough, I was talking about this with somebody earlier, and I was saying that I think... I was surprised that they've gone for the J50 as their most recent Loco announcement over something like the Austerity, the J94. Because I'd have thought, if they're focusing in on the LNER series, that... the Austerity, you can have the LNER liveries, you can have the British Railways liveries from both early crest and late crest, and you can also have lots of very colourful and pretty industrial liveries as well. I think it's the EFE J94 Austerity that came out last year. I want to say that was an N gauge, and they look really, really good. So I'd have thought that would be a really good shot for Hornby to get to work on that, and I thought that was going to be the next locomotive after what's already been announced. Instead, they went with the J50, and I think that makes a lot of sense when you actually take a step back and think about it, because obviously they've already got the design work for the 00 gauge version, whereas their Austerity is an ex-DAPL and possibly ex-Airfix kit. Or not kit, sorry, but it's the old model, basically. So they haven't got up-to-date tooling, or not even necessarily tooling, but they haven't got up-to-date design work for the Austerity. So actually, when you think about it, it makes sense that they're doing the J50 rather than the Austerity first. All this is to say that if they're going to focus in on the LNER kind of eastern region, and they're going to work with models that they've already done in 00 gauge that they know have worked very well and that they can easily sort of translate to TT120, I think a really good shout, and I have no idea whether this will happen or not, but we've got big Pacific locos with the A4 and the A3 and the A1 if you count those as well. We're now going to get a very small loco, tank engine with the J50. So how about something in the middle that can kind of do a bit of everything, that can do a bit of goods trains, that can pull a passenger train, a short branch line train, something like that. How about something like the J15 in TT120? I think that would be really cool. A little 060 tender engine, sort of mid-sized kind of thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be the J15, but they do have the design work for that. They did that back in, I want to say 2015. So, it would sort of fit into that same kind of category, with it being kind of an eastern region sort of locomotive, with it also, they have that kind of design work for it. I think that would be a really cool... I would love to see that in TT120, essentially. But yeah, not necessarily the J15. They did the J36, I think. I don't know. Now, I know that was an LNER loco because I've got one in an LNER livery. But I think it was a very Scottish-based engine. I think. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it was a very Scottish region kind of engine. I don't know if they ever came south of the border. Sorry, I'm not an expert on anything, really. Anyway, but I suppose you could do other things as well. Is it like the B17 or the B12 or something like that? I think sort of like a mid-sized kind of engine would be really cool. So that if they're going for the sort of the big kind of LNER stuff, or if they're going for the LNER in a big way, I think that would make I think it would be a great choice, basically. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question, Beaglington on Sea. And yeah, great question. Great question.